People have asked me what they're supposed to do when they're on a team with someone and they know that there's a guy on the team who has a girlfriend back home and they're cheating on them. The girlfriend comes out to visit. Then they find out they've been together for however many years. I've gotten this several times.
Seriously. I hate being in that situation where you know something. Okay, so like for example, like you know the guy is cheating and they have a girlfriend back home. The problem is 9 times out of 10, you become friends with this girlfriend and you're like, okay, I'm going to tell them. They never believe you. We have no ill will.
And the hard part about hockey is that you have to remember that your husband and boyfriend are on a team with this person as well. And that's where it gets messy and that's where people get stuck.
You're listening to Breaking the Ice, a podcast and community created for wives and girlfriends of professional hockey players, but since has turned into so much more. Stories shared by women around the globe who come together for a sense of connection and community. You may be in the sports industry, a hockey parent, an athlete, or a person who just enjoys podcasts, but I can promise you'll be inspired by these women every single day, while we evolve through the tips, tricks, do's, and don'ts for all things hockey. And guess what? So much more. For women, by women, but especially for a hockey community. So lace them up and tune in for a new episode every Wednesday. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to the podcast, you guys. I have had issues with my audio all day. I tried recording this earlier, and now I'm in my bedroom, which is right next to the street, and people keep talking outside every time I start. So I'm just going to go for it. And I apologize if you hear random people talking in the background, but that is, I guess, what I get for living in an apartment. So, hello. We are out of lockdown now in Austria. I've gotten several messages about this because I think a lot of girls in surrounding countries are wanting to come to Vienna for the Christmas markets. So all I can do is direct you to our government website because things are constantly changing and I never want to give anyone the wrong information. So make sure to check that out before you plan any travel here. However, last week when we did record this episode, we were in lockdown and I got to record this episode with my friend Jeanie. Her and I are in Vienna, Austria together, and we just refilled our wine glasses a few times and chatted about all the things. We talked about lockdown for a while and just what it's been like, what our mindsets have been like, the frustrations, confusions. And so we kind of just talk about everything in relation to lockdown, which I'm sure will be relatable to a lot of people. We also just have a lot of funny conversations, and something that really stood out to me in this episode is that we had kind of an in-depth conversation about cheating, which I realized that we never have talked about this in any of the episodes, but it's something that I get asked all the time, is about if you know someone on the team is cheating on their significant other, what do you do? I've never really had an answer for people. I've been in that situation many, many moons ago, like when I was a lot younger. And I think that the way that I did not approach that situation back then would be very different now. So we just have a really authentic conversation about this because it's real and it happens. And I think you guys will be glad that we did. We also talk about female friendships in this lifestyle, also a very hot topic that people want to hear about. So it's just a very wine-flowing, wine-based conversation. It was so much fun talking with her. I typically do all of my recordings over Zoom audio, and so the audio might sound a little bit off because I'm obviously not in a production studio and I only have one microphone. So I apologize if some of it sounds a little bit far away, but we did the best we could. We had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey guys, welcome to the pod. I'm here with my friend Jeanie, and we play together in Vienna, Austria, and we are just sitting here in lockdown, drinking some wine, and we're probably going to keep just filling our glass, so
Saddle up.
Not sure what's gonna come out of our mouths in this next hour, but welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I think we should preface this that we talked for a long time. I think you were one of the first people that reached out to me, honestly, when I started the podcast, and we just always kept talking. And last at the end of the season or something, we were like, oh my God, that would be so fun to play together sometime.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy if we played together?
Literally, not even a thought in my mind that would ever be a possibility.
No.
And then, we signed in Vienna. I had no idea you guys were thinking about signing here. No one, announced that we had signed in Vienna. And, you text me saying, are you guys going to Vienna next year? I was like, yeah, are you? You're like, oh my God, yeah. Do you remember we had this conversation that we'd ever play together? And here we are.
Here we are. It's crazy.
And now we're in lockdown.
Yes. Lockdown. Hopefully it's actually going to end next week.
I know. So for those that are listening, I'm sure you've seen me post on my stories about lockdown and talk about it on episodes because it's been going on since I started the podcast pretty much.
Yes.
And I remember the first episode, I was like, I'm not going to talk about COVID. Well, you know what? It's literally
never going away.
What has your mental state been in this lockdown? First of all, let's backtrack. You were in Denmark last year.
Yes.
Was there lockdowns there last year?
Yes. So my husband Matt and I went to a Christmas market beginning of December, and I get a text from one of my Danish friends. Hey, at 4:00, we're going into a lockdown. Everything's closed. You can only get takeout. We literally just left a Christmas market. We're like, what? So I'm like, what is this going to entail? She's like, everything's going to be closed but pharmacies and grocery stores. No talk, just boom. We're going into lockdown.
And at this point, because obviously people were Austria and Germany were one of the first countries to lock down.
Yeah.
So you already knew that we were in lockdown.
Yes.
And you didn't think that was going to be a possibility.
No, because everything was on track. We there was, I think 500 people could be in the building at games, so it was okay, and that following Monday it was supposed to be up to 1,000 fans. So we didn't think anything of it. We're like, okay, everything's good, the numbers are good. Yes, people have COVID, but everything's fine. Denmark's never going to close down. No way the people will let us close down. The Danish people, no way. Nope. And then all of a sudden it was 4:00, done.
And
lockdown.
you guys went all the way, right, to the finals?
Yep.
Did you win the finals?
Oh, no, we didn't. Sorry. We lost in semis.
Okay. So you were there a long time.
Yes.
When did you go home?
Oh, we got home the end of April.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is too long.
And then I think the week after, Denmark opened. Right after we left.
Of course, that's how it works.
Yeah.
That's how life works.
Yeah. Just like Canada, opened right after we left to come here. The U.S.
You flew into the U.S.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to refresh my memory.
Yes.
And then Matt went to Canada, but
he did right before we came here. Because we weren't allowed.
Didn't go.
No, we weren't allowed. Because Sophia and I are American.
Why is that though? If you're married, that's what I don't understand. If you're married, you're on North American soil. Why can't you go?
I don't know.
Did you try?
No, we didn't even try because we had heard that because Matt and I were vaccinated, we didn't have to quarantine, but Sophia would have to quarantine. And then looking further into it, it was, Matt wouldn't have to quarantine because he's Canadian, but because Sophia and I are American, technically, even though we've put in our paperwork, we would have to quarantine.
How long does it take to get that approved?
It's been a year and a half, and they just looked at the paperwork. So, and we're still waiting for an approval, but...
Why does it... Okay, so that's what I don't understand. So, when you come to Europe, is it because you're on a work visa that it's so quick to get that process?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the team, pushes it forward.
But still, I feel like there's just so many problems with people trying to do this, and
But
it shouldn't be so complicated.
It seems like, you know, to get your passport or anything like that in Canada, it's not essential. Why? No idea. Like, it should be essential. Like, people still need passports, license, you know, people moving to Canada, they need residency, citizenship, but it's just not a priority.
It just doesn't make sense. I mean, like, even Wendy, who I had on the podcast, like, she went home for, like, a real estate transaction and, like, literally got stuck in the U.S. when her husband of, like, 38 years is in Canada. Yep. Couldn't see each other. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. There should be some sort of exception to the rule because it's stupid.
My cousin was coaching for Toronto, and my cousin decided to stay home with the kids, and they were not allowed to go see, like, she wasn't allowed to go see her husband. The kids weren't allowed to go see their dad the whole season. And of course, Canada was only playing in Canada, so it wasn't like they could fly to see him in the US where he was playing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think now, because when we came over here, we weren't in lockdown, right? No, not lockdown, but we weren't, like, everything seemed, like, relatively normal. And I honestly, like, kind of got my hopes up. Like, I felt like once we got, because we got here end of July, I felt like I started to be like, okay, this, like, we're, like, 3 months in, nothing has happened.
Yep. We just have to show our Vax card to get to the games.
Yeah, like, this is perfect.
It's fine. Yep.
But then it just, all of a sudden, like, flipped a switch, and I feel like I was, like, thrown when they said they were doing another lockdown. Like, I truly was like, what the
Yeah, I know.
Like, what?
We're going to Christmas markets, or, you know, no masks, like, other than when we're in the mall or something.
Like, I have to say, though, like, the Christmas market here, like, I don't know if it's because we went on a weekend or what, but it was so busy. I was even, like, looking around, feeling it was a little too close.
Were they checking Vax cards at that time?
They were, but, like, everybody's just, like, I mean, you know, like, you guys had COVID. Yeah. And you were vaccinated. And it's just, like, so
didn't know we did, but
exactly. And, like, think about how many people are walking around not knowing that they have COVID at these Christmas markets. So I was just kind of like, I feel like I should, like, put a mask on because it's a little too close for comfort. And then literally the next day, done. We're done.
I can't believe the markets that opened for one day.
That was such a tease. Are they open? Do you know if they're... I think they are opening.
They are.
Oh my God.
Yes. So it's just hotels and restaurants that aren't opening until December 20th. And that's just Vienna. So I don't know what the other rules are for around Austria.
Okay. Obviously, we both have kids. We're stuck inside. Sophia's in school. You're saving grace. But, like...
Yes.
Do you feel discouraged? Do you feel frustrated? Like, what's your...
Well, I'm frustrated because I went from being in quarantine for 10 days to add more on to a lockdown. So, yes, I appreciate that Sophia can go to school, but it's Christmas season. Like, I can't get anything. Mm-hmm. I even feel like grocery stores have less things in them. I'm just kind of done. Like, you asked us to get vaccinated, we got vaccinated, and we're still getting punished.
Yeah. That's, like, what and I don't know, I love having a conversation about this because I think a lot of people are, like, having the same thoughts about, I mean, there's obviously a lot of controversy about this and that and this and that. And, like, that's not really what we're talking about. It's just more of things, like, not making sense.
Yes.
Like, so, for example, Austria, the country of Austria, there's rules in every different part of Austria that are different from each other.
Yes.
Like, some people are saying that you don't have to quarantine if you're in a house with someone that tested positive, but you're vaccinated, so you're fine. No, you can still pass it and get it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Clearly, because
that's how it's spreading.
Yeah. I don't know when I got it. I don't know when Matt got it. We don't know when Sophia got it.
Yeah.
So, lucky enough, there's people that don't get it in the same household. Why? No idea. Nobody understands this virus.
Exactly. So it just doesn't make, like, that's the part that's so frustrating, because if this is the same, like, virus, this is the same issue that's going on in the world, it should be the same regulations everywhere. Right. It's not, like, I don't understand why it's different here and different there.
Well, in the schools, too, because I know people in Salzburg, their kids aren't in school.
Are they closed up there, the kinders?
Yes. And then you come to Vienna, and it was never even a talk to close the schools. I was worried when they said a lockdown that schools would be closed, but I got an email right away saying, nope, we're open, but please only bring your kids unless you have to. So after Sophia tested negative, I was like, hey, I kind of want to bring my kid back to school. And they're like, well, we're open. So what do you mean? Of course you can bring her. So I've been bringing her, but, you know, first week she goes back, she gets a cold.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sure any mom listening absolutely knows, like, if your kid is in school, like, they're sick.
Yes.
The whole year.
Yes.
Like, the travel regulations, and then, like, 2G+, which is, like, means that if you're vaccinated, you still have to take a PCR test to go anywhere, which I'm not sure if they're actually implementing. It's just confusing, and I think that's why it's so frustrating, because it's like, what is the answer? Like, when is this going to stop? When is there an end in sight? It's, like, depressing, because, like, not saying anyone's situation is worse than another person's, but, like, it does make it really hard that we're, like, away from family and friends. We're, like, in a country where, like, like, I have found that the majority of people here speak English, but there's still, like, a language barrier. It's still not home for me.
Yes.
It's hard. Like, it's not.
Well, and this is the time of the year that you're ready for your family to visit. You're homesick.
Exactly.
And can your family come? I don't know.
Yeah. Is
there a travel ban? I don't know. It changes all the time. So, and you don't want to book a flight and then the airlines say, well, we can't do anything about it, you know. Natural tragedy.
So yesterday, my dad was like, long story short, my mom got this major back surgery, and she's been in, like, a rehab center because she just, like, needs a ton of help. So anyway, she's back at the house now, and he is going to my cousin's wedding this coming weekend, and it's like $2,000 to get my mom help for the weekend. So he was like, he basically, when we FaceTimed yesterday, said, like, I'm sorry, but for 2 days it's this much. How's it going to be when I'm gone for 10 days? He's like, I just can't afford that, which obviously I completely understand.
Right.
And then I talked to my sister today, and, like, again, I completely understand, like, their point of view too. Like, there's 6 of them. That's very expensive to come all the way here. Like, get hotels. Like, her kids are all, like, teenagers at this point, so, like, they're not gonna, like, share beds and, like, be in the same room. Like, they're grown up.
Yes.
So, like, they're getting hotels, their airfare, their food, like, anything else they want to buy over here. So it's, like, getting expensive. And it's like, what happens if they get COVID while they're over here?
Right.
What happens if there's issues with the airline? Like, It's so confusing, and it's like, I totally understand, but, like, obviously I'm super disappointed. Like, it just sucks because we've been making our plans, like...
You've been looking forward to this.
Totally. And like you said, it's like, at this point, for me, I mean, I'm definitely homesick, but I feel like I start to I'm homesick for, like, my homeland, and I miss my family, of course, but, like, I really start to miss them around, like, that January lull in the season. So, and that's what I was going to say too, like, we're obviously both American.
You're right.
And you know that there's just no controlling anyone in America.
Right.
So it is not saying what they're doing is right or wrong, but I will say, like, just growing up there and living there, to be able to go do the things, even though this is going on in the world, and then coming here and feeling like you cannot
trapped.
Leave and you have to follow these rules and you are stuck, it does make you feel like some type of way. Yeah,
definitely.
Like, I feel very, like, gosh, I don't know what's the word. It's like trapped. I feel like I want to, like,
You want to
like,
rebel.
Yeah, it's like, like when authorities like trying to tell you no, like
Yes.
when you were younger and your mom's like, don't do this. You're like, well, I'm doing it.
Yes,
Like it makes me feel like I want to like just scream. I'm like, you cannot control me. So it's just, I'm going to take a drink of my wine. Got a little worked up there.
No, it's true. And you see what's going on at home, and there's no lockdown. Yes, kids are still having to wear masks in school, but you can go wherever you want. You can do whatever you want to do. I mean, I see friends at the bars, and it's packed. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay. Can't even go into a bar. I can't even sit down at a restaurant.
Yeah. I would actually be really scared if they tried to enforce rules like that in the U.S. as to what would happen. It would be really scary.
Yeah.
Very scary.
Yes.
Bad things would probably happen.
Much worse than here.
Yeah. There's been like some riots here. Like I think 40,000 people or something were in downtown Vienna, which just freaks me out. I do not like crowds.
No. When we were there last weekend, we saw it starting to form, but it was very peaceful, but it freaked me out. I don't know what they were saying, but, someone was on a megaphone, and then everybody was cheering, and it's just, I'm glad I got out of there before it. And I don't think that it was violent by any means, but I think that people are angry, and
they're like unpredictable. You don't know what people are going to do.
Yes. There was big police presence, and they were ready. I mean, they had their helmets, and it was scary to see.
Like I said to you over text message, I'm like, you're probably glad I'm not with you right now, because, I mean, we've walked together in the dark before.
Yes.
I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. I'm like telling you, oh my God, that person looks really freaky. Like, I'm a worrywart, and I think if I do have, this is just like, because of also America and like all of the rules, I'm really scared of like being in public places and being in a situation where like something bad is going to happen.
Yes.
So like those kind of environments give me extremely bad anxiety, and I think I would have been like so embarrassed of like how I would have responded to that. I'm like, I'm happy I wasn't there.
Right.
I would have been out of control.
Because it's anytime we're in Europe, I feel so much more safe because I know there isn't as many guns, or like people seem to be like a little bit more level.
Yeah.
People get angry, but
what happens less here?
Yeah.
Way less.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just like kind of wanted to start off talking like that because honestly, it's just what's going on.
Yes, exactly.
It's everyone is thinking about, everyone's feeling it. Again, it's like this heaviness. It's like a collective heaviness that everyone's feeling. So we needed to address it.
Yes.
Because it's real life.
All too real. And it's got to end.
Yeah. Man. I feel like we need to take a deep breath.
Yeah, seriously.
That is literally the best noise in the world, I have to say. The pouring of a wine glass. The wine here is so cheap. So cheap. Like, back home, I feel like all the wine bottles that I buy at Trader Joe's is actually pretty cheap too. But when I buy like an €8 glass bottle of wine here, I feel like I'm really splurging. Whereas back home, that's like the standard for a good bottle of wine.
Or one glass.
Yeah. That's true. Like, God, you go out to eat. It's actually like really sick if you think about it.
Yes.
Think about it. If I were to go out to eat and have this bottle of wine in the US, it would be $9.50.
Yeah, a glass.
This bottle cost me €4, which is so upset. Even if you go out to eat here,
I think I splurged, and this was like €9.
Did you?
I think I did
for the pod.
Yes.
I like it.
Cracked it open.
I tried to buy Chardonnay because I've been on a white kick lately, but I went into that little like mini spar, so I just like they didn't have it, so I was like, I've had this before. I'm like, this will do. I was kind of feeling a red vibe. I feel like that's more of a socializing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Wine, I'm like, or white wine, I feel like I like drinking A in the summer, or B if I'm just like at home. I don't know why.
Or pasta. Like with pasta.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if I'm like having drinks with people, I feel like red wine is more of like a appropriate.
Yes.
Like I feel more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Like, can I get a glass of Chardonnay? Like, I don't know. It just sounds like more.
Sounds like your mom.
Yeah.
That's my mom.
Chardonnay. Is that her drink of choice?
Or Pinot Grigio.
Yeah. Oh. That always reminds me of Vanderpump.
Yes.
Speaking of, are you caught up?
I am not. I need to.
Okay. Because we've kind of been watching some same shows.
Yes.
Selling Sunset.
I'm ready for the next season.
Penny, for your thoughts. Did you like it?
I did. I think that it got to be too much like Christine drama.
That's how I felt. I was like, okay, we get it. No one likes her.
No, and the show's about selling houses.
Yeah.
And it was
too much.
There was hardly any showings. It was just too much.
It just felt very produced. That's
exactly
an example of being produced, because the producers
and I am sorry, but there is no chance after a couple days after you had a birth, let alone a C-section, you're in a crop top. Please.
But if you want some good entertainment, it is good. And I do like looking at the houses.
I do too.
Like, I think that's cool. Like, I like to, and it's funny because Charlie, like, he'll sit here when I'm watching and he's like, oh my God. Like,
these reality shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, he's a realtor and he's like, this is so, I'm like, Charlie, LA is literally a different world. You do not understand. Like,
yes.
LA, like, everyone looks like that there.
Yes.
Everyone.
You
like,
have to.
It's crazy. Like, just even being from San Diego, like, everyone is so beautiful.
Yes.
And it's like kind of shocking.
Lip injections.
But even in like high school and stuff, like, I mean, no one had like Botox and stuff. Like,
no.
Again, I mean, I always felt like, oh, I'm like cute. Like, I'm like, I know I'm not ugly. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if that sounds weird to say, but I'm like, but I felt like because everyone was so like beautiful, like I always felt so insecure. Like, I was like, oh, I'm just like,
well, and like
average.
There's so many clicks. Yeah. Ick.
High school was weird.
Yes.
Can we just talk about high school?
Yes. Yes.
Like, I just look back and I'm like, why did you try so hard to be
seriously
so cool?
Yes. Like I was never going to be the person that those popular kids wanted in their group. I was never going to be. So why I tried so hard? Don't know.
It's kind of scary. Like, I kind of think back to like how much I used to like party and stuff in high school, and I'm like,
awful.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is scary. Like, if I was the parent of myself.
Yes.
And I think my parents can vouch for this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would be really concerned.
My poor mom. She's like, you said you were hanging out with this group of kids because they didn't drink, and I was like, really? Because getting to know them down the road, you knew I was lying.
One time I told my parents I was sleeping over at like a friend's house.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going over to Megan's to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Dude, I was on a party bus on my way to Los Angeles. It came back that night and I did spend the night at Megan's house. But there
was some stuff in between.
Exactly. But I just feel like now that I was like that.
Yes.
And like, I'll have to fact check myself when I listen back to this episode in like 15 years. But I feel like nothing will get by me as a parent.
I agree.
Like,
the
nothing.
Things I pulled.
Oh, you're going for a sleepover?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm going to drive by later tonight. Make sure you're there by knocking on the front door.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to be a
your
psycho.
Location on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
FaceTime me. Let me talk to your friend's parents. Actually, I don't even think I'm going to allow Sophia to have sleepovers.
No, I don't think I will either. Because
my mom
that's when bad
hated
stuff
them.
happens.
Yes. Yes.
It's when bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
And I always felt that my friends in high school whose parents were so strict about drinking, it's like, let's face it. It was actually, like, a side note off that, some of my friends in college didn't drink in high school, which I found so weird.
Yeah.
But I guess it just depends on where you're from.
Yeah.
My high school, huge party high school.
Yes. Yeah. Same.
Like, very, like, jocks and cheer, like, it's just, everyone was partying. And,
except for if they were in season. Then they didn't drink.
Oh, that must have just been at your school.
Yeah. Which was funny because it was like, if my friends, my senior year, like a party got busted and a bunch of them couldn't go to prom. Everybody's minors ended up getting thrown out because the police came in without cause. They just opened this door and came in. But like so many people missed prom, which at that time was kind of a big deal. But I ran, so I didn't get a minor. But
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I've never ran so fast in my life. I hate running.
Yeah, still do to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, what a weird time.
Yeah.
I like get like kind of, this is like so ridiculous because like everyone was drinking this much, but like I literally get PTSD sometimes when I see people, not my friends from high school because like we're all like still friends.
Yeah.
Obviously don't see them as much as I would like to, but like just random people that I am not so close with where I'm like, oh my God. Like I still think of like a couple nights where it was just really out of control.
Yes.
And I'm like, do they still think about that night? Like, dude, they were just as far gone.
Yes.
Me. Like, I don't know if this is appropriate to be talking about, but it's just like, it's just the truth.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, sorry to my family members that are listening. Like, this is a present to you, like all my dirty laundry from high school. But, gosh. Anyway, no, I really feel like nothing will get by me. I'm gonna be, but like kids are smart. I feel like the location thing, like so easily manipulated. Turn the iPad on. Download the app on the iPad. Leave the iPad at home. Turn it off on your phone. Like it's so easy to manipulate.
I'm already a little afraid. Sophia's pretty smart.
But like the friends that I had whose parents were so strict about drinking.
Yes.
Were the friends that
were the worst.
Out of control.
Yes.
They were sick.
Yes.
Hospitalized. Like, so for me, like that was eye-opening even at that time, and I could acknowledge like it's because the parents are not, you as a parent have to know like this is probably gonna happen.
Yeah, for
sure.
Do
I want their first time like having a few drinks to be with me or like out and them hiding it?
Right.
I always want to be like open to that, and I always want my kids to know like I don't give a shit if it's 3:30 in the morning and me and your dad are gonna be pissed as hell. We will come drive 2 hours to pick you up.
Yes, because you deserve a safe ride home.
Yes. Because I think what happens is when people don't feel like they can call their parents because they're going to be mad at them for drinking. And then when they do that, you cannot get them in trouble because they did the right thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's what happens too. They'll call the parents and the parents are pissed and they ground them.
Yes.
No, you need to reward them.
Yes.
Right?
I think so. Yeah. You're doing the right thing.
I saw this reel today on Instagram where someone was literally saying that you shouldn't tell your kids about Santa because you're lying to them. Did you see that?
I've been seeing that.
I was shook at. I was like, that is too far. Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. There's so much right now, like disciplining your children, and the Santa thing is insane to me. I can't even tell you how many times in the last week I've said to Sophia, Santa's watching. You got to stop being so naughty. If it's going to help me in the long run, fine. Is she going to be mad at me at 18 years old? I mean, obviously younger than that, but is she going to be mad at me? No, she's going to be like, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, this generation is so soft. Like, relax. It's not going to have a long-term effect.
I do feel like there are some good studies that I've seen where I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
Like just stuff where I'm like, okay, I can see how that could lead a
for
lasting
sure.
impact.
Definitely.
Or just stuff that I see where I'm like, okay, I like these responses, but I do feel like it does give me anxiety sometimes when I see these posts because I'm like, oh my God, like I feel like I have to be like, that's okay, sweetheart. Since you said this, I have to do this and this. It's like, we're not robots.
And honestly, like, things I've read have helped me a little bit because I am quick to get upset. And I'm like, okay, relax, Jeanie. Like, she's 2 years old. She doesn't know what she's doing. So sometimes it's like, your first reaction is like, oh my God, stop. Like, you're acting like a crazy person. And then it's like, in your head, you're like, okay, they're 2. Mm-hmm. So quietly, calmly. I mean, they feed off your energy, and that's something that I agree with. Like, you have to relax a little bit. You have to realize that they're 2 or X amount of age. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they do understand to a point. Like, what you're doing is not okay. Mm-hmm. Hitting the dog is not okay. Mm-hmm. Sitting on the dog is not okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to remove you from this situation. I'm going to scold you because...
You know better.
You know better. And they're animals. Yes, we love our dogs. They're still animals. They're still unpredictable.
Yeah.
That's just like an example,
mm-hmm.
you know.
It's like, even though she's 2, like, you're still like a newer parent. Like, 2 in the scheme of 18 years or whatever till you parent for, that's like just the beginning.
Yes.
Like, each year that they get older, you're learning new things. They're growing. They're doing different things.
Yes.
Like, she's potty training now. Next, like, soon she's probably going to switch into like a adult or like a trundle bed thing.
Yeah.
Like, she's going to be out of the crib, and then and then it's like, then you're going to be doing...
Pray for me when she's out of her crib.
Yeah. No, I think every parent is like, dear God, like, more bottles of wine, please. Like,
I'm gonna have to like get an extra lock on the door, or she's gonna walk out and try and go to someone else's apartment.
That literally happens, I think. Like, actually, which is frightening.
She knows where the other girls live. She's gonna be knocking on their door. Hi, you want to hang out?
Oh my God. Okay, I have a question for you. What are you watching right now in lockdown?
We were watching a British crime show, and then we quit watching it. We're watching Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh my God, I love that show. Do you need a new show?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Okay, but you should watch it with Matt, because it's like...
That's what we need.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. Have you heard of it?
No.
So, oddly enough, he's a writer, and my dad has read like all of his books. Like, I remember like just growing up always seeing him read Tom Clancy, and we were like trying to find a new show to watch, and Charlie clicks, and I'm like, oh my God, my dad has read all these books. Anyways, we started watching it. It is so good, but like absolutely frightening. Like, last night we watched 3 episodes, and I was like a little bit scared going to bed.
What's it about?
It's about this like analyst who's John, I'm going to say his last name wrong, Krasinski from The Office.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which I actually think I have a crush on him now after watching this show.
Yes.
He
has gotten more and more handsome with age.
He's cute.
Yes.
And Charlie like is the least jealous person ever, but like for some reason when I say I have crushes on people on TV, he like gets mad at me. I'm like, okay, like
never gonna meet him.
Yeah, I'm like, it's okay. It's like not a practical crush. Like, at least it's not someone like down the street. It's on television. But anyway,
he's not a teammate.
Yeah, exactly. Thank God. You're lucky, okay? So he's like the main character, and he's an analyst, and he like, I don't really know how he gets pulled into this, but anyways, he starts working like he's an analyst in the CIA.
Okay.
And it's about like the Taliban, and like it's basically like this lead guy that's like the next like lead guy under Osama bin Laden, and like he is like doing all these like terrorism. He's doing all these acts of terrorism, and so they're like following him, and so it's like he's like super, what's the word, like front and center of like all of these things, like trying to find this guy.
Yeah.
But it's insane, because you watch these scenes and you're like, how do they even come up with this stuff? And I'm also like,
did this stuff happen?
And does this not give people ideas if they haven't thought of it already? Like, do you ever think that? Like, is this giving the wrong person the right idea to do something extremely bad?
Yes. Yes.
Like, it's a little bit frightening. And, like, I went to bed, like, there was just a lot of explosions and all of this stuff. And, like, because they obviously are on the road right now, and we're, like, alone for 3 days. God bless us.
That's when I lock the door, is when they're on the road.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's why we're drinking wine right now and, like, doing this. But I'm just like, dude, I was, like, laying in bed last night. And I'm like, oh, my God. This is a little bit too, like, it's just
well, and
scary.
to kind of think, too.
They're smart.
Yeah. But I mean, there was a shooting, right? Last year? Right before lockdown? Mm-hmm. Here?
Mm-hmm.
and to be where it happened, like, it was a little freaky.
Yeah. I remember I heard about that when we were in Graz, and I was like, even just being there, I was like, oh my God, this just gets a little too close.
A little too close, yeah. Yeah.
God.
Other than that, I've been watching a lot of 2020.
What's that?
It's a TV show that's on, like, the main news networks and different, right now I'm watching JonBenet Ramsey stuff, which, I mean, she was murdered in, like, the 90s. And then, yeah, just so there's just, like, different people on there.
So we're just, like, basically keeping it super light in lockdown.
Right, yeah, a lot of murder things, you know, I mean.
We gotta keep our imaginations going.
Yeah. And of course, you, like, watch a lot of this stuff right before bed, so it's like.
Yeah, well, because that's your
only
mind
time,
going. Alone time.
Yeah.
Every night, I'm like, awesome, it's midnight again. Why am I still awake? Oh, that's right, because it's my only time of alone time.
Yeah, seriously. Do you sleep when Charlie's gone?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I know, you don't. You, like, sleep on the couch or something, right?
Sometimes, or I don't know. I don't want to sleep with a dog because she feels like she has to protect me. So it'll be like 4 o'clock in the morning and she starts viciously barking.
You need like a fan and a sound machine in your room.
We have the fan on like full blast. She shouldn't hear anything.
Can you lock her in the room with you?
Yeah, but still, she's laying next to me and just starts viciously barking.
Yeah, that pisses me off. My dog Deacon has done that, and it's like literally infuriates me. And not only infuriates me, it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. In the middle of the night, and then you're like, and like for me, my mind starts going after that because I'm like, okay, now I gotta get back to sleep. And then I start thinking about random things, and then I obsess, and then all of a sudden it's like 7 a.m. and I'm like, well, I might as well be awake because like Sophia's gonna get up and
like do a workout and like go for a run. And you're like, no. I'm gonna like roll out of bed and chill on the couch.
Have I showered in a week? I don't know.
And you'll never know because of dry shampoo and leggings. Same. Did I just work out?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I'll never give you the answer. Speaking of that, I will say, I was really like pumping myself up because the team handed out some passes to go to this like super bougie like boutique gym right by our house.
Yep.
And I'm like so excited. I'm like looking at the class schedule. They have classes in English. Like
actually gonna go.
Cycling. I was like, Jeanie, we need to make a plan. I don't care. I need to work out at 8 a.m. every day. Like that's just not like, I don't like that. Okay. Cause I feel trapped with that. I want flexibility, but I can commit to Tuesday, Thursday, we go at 8. Monday, Wednesday, we go at 4. Like, I like that variety. Yes. Like, I don't like the same. So I'm like, okay, well, let's find classes that we want to go to and, like, map it out for the... Like, I was ready to go.
I mean, yeah, as hesitant as I was ready to go.
But, like, I think I was in the space where I could have motivated you. Cause,
like, I think so.
Which I'm not really, like, I also need to be motivated. But I was like, you know what? I'm ready to, like, start being active again because I just... Like, after having a baby, I've just really, like, not made that a priority, and that's fine. I think that's okay. Like, I'm tired.
I'm almost 3 years in.
Yeah, and it's fine. Like, and you look at the whole grand scheme of things, we don't have help. We don't have family. We're tired. Our downtime, like, I don't feel like jumping up and going for a run or going to the gym. I don't.
My thought process, like, is when my downtime is when she naps. No. Yeah. I want to sit. I want to watch a show. I want to hang out. I want to breathe. I don't want to go work out. Mm-hmm. That's the last thing I want to do.
Yeah.
Or even with her going to school. Like, I want to vacuum or, you know, like, or you know what? I want to sit down and watch Selling Sunset.
Exactly. And you're allowed to.
Yes.
But I will say, I do feel that if I were to work out, I would feel better. Emotionally
100%.
And just like physically, like obviously after you have a baby, like you just don't feel like it's like after you have a baby, like I had a baby a year ago, but like I just still like I I feel like I've not prioritized that, and I haven't wanted to. I'm like, I'm literally just trying to, just still get through the day, but I have learned that, like, I just need to ask for more support. Like, if I want to go to a class, all I need to do is be like, Charlie, and, like, that helps him, too, if, like, we were to have, like, a set schedule, to be like, hey, you know in your head that on Tuesday, Thursday, we go at 4.
Yep.
So, like, you need to watch him at 4. Like, no problem. He would totally do it, but it's just, like, I just don't do that.
The heads up. Yeah.
So it's, like, I need to just ask for support.
And sometimes it's hard because it's, like, it's an extra effort to be like, hey, I need you to do this. Where we're like, whatever, I don't want to ask. I'm just going to do it myself. Mm-hmm. Instead of the extra effort of asking. And then...
It's another thing on your checklist is to have to explain it.
Yeah. And then you're like, well, why don't they just know what I need? And then you get resentment. And it's stupid because it doesn't need to happen.
I was dying at a reel I shared the other day about, like, can you get me a diaper? Like,
oh my God,
definition of Charlie. Like,
yes.
I literally, every single time he does that, I go, no. I mean, I'll wind up getting it, but I'll be like, no, you can go get it. He's like, are you serious? Like, I'm like, I am 1 foot closer to you. I am sitting on this couch. You are sitting on this couch.
Yes.
You can get up and grab a diaper.
Yes.
And, like,
plan ahead.
This one girl who I used to work with at Lulu responded to my story because she has, like, a newer baby. And she was like, oh my gosh. She was like, I literally just said this to my wife, is that, like, I feel that I'm not really getting a break if I'm still assisting you with the tasks that I do all day.
Yes.
And I
on my own.
Wow. Like, I don't know. It just, like, clicked. I was like, that's a really good way to put it.
Yes.
Because, like, I don't think they understand that, like, I do this all the time by myself.
Yes.
And it's funny. Like, now it's a joke when he asks for a diaper. I'm like, come on. He's like, come on. I'm like, now I'll just say, no. I'm not moving. You can get up.
You can do it.
You go. You can do it.
It is interesting, though, like, last season, everybody was kind of going through the lockdown. And this season, it's just... Us. Yeah, it's just, like, Europe.
I feel like we normalize what we're going through, too. And it's not normal. It's not normal. No. Like, we're like, oh, we're doing great. Yeah, we're in lockdown, but all's good. I'm just here with my kid and husband, and he's gone for 3 days, and I can't leave my apartment, but
we're good.
We're hanging in there.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
And I don't know. For, like, I know, like, obviously, you and I have talked about this. Like, we both have anxiety and, like, struggle with, like, depression and stuff. And, like, I just think that for me, like, it comes in waves. Like, sometimes I'll be completely fine and I'm, like, happy and good. And then other times I just feel really down.
And it could be cycle. Like, where we are in our cycle, which is odd. Like, I'd like to know more about my cycle, but at the same time, it's been so regular for so long that it's just going to be what it is going to be. Yeah. And I also kind of think that, I mean, reading more about, like, hormonal imbalance, maybe I have that.
Ooh, we're getting some questions.
We are?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, wait. Which is also bringing up a question I wanted to talk about in this episode too, because I thought about it earlier. I was like, ooh, this would be a good question to ask you.
Okay.
Are you excited for this?
Kind of.
Okay. I'm going to ask you my question first, and then I'll ask you these other 2 questions.
Okay.
So far that have come in. We were like, you guys, no one's asking us questions, and we're going to have to come up with all of this conversation ourselves, even though we're friends and hang out all the time and talk about these things all the time. But, like, somehow when we're recording, there's more pressure to come up with topics that we care about. Anyways. Okay. I'm going to throw you for a run with this question.
Oof.
I have gotten asked this a lot with, like, just from people messaging me on Instagram, which is interesting because I honestly do not have an answer because I do not know what to say.
Okay.
People have asked me what they're supposed to do when they're on a team with someone and they know that there's a guy on the team who has a girlfriend back home and they're cheating on them. The girlfriend comes out to visit. Then they find out they've been together for however many years. I've gotten this several times.
Seriously? I
have also experienced this. it's like, what do you do?
Okay, I hate being in that situation where you know something. Okay, so like for example, like you know the guy is cheating and they have a girlfriend back home. The problem is 9 times out of 10 you become friends with this girlfriend and you're like, okay, I'm gonna tell them. They never believe you. So take a step back and listen for a second. And like, we have no ill will. We want you.
Why would anyone make that up?
I don't know. But it's happened to me a couple times where I've been like, hey,
You've actually done it?
yes, like I had a friend that came to visit me and like met one of Matt's teammates, and she knew that he had a girlfriend back home, and like she never crossed the line ever, would never. But this guy was like messaging her all the time. And it happened in college too, and the girl like never believes you. And so it's such a weird place because you're like, well, what's the point? And then when they break up, they're like, did you know? And you're like, yeah, but like you're never gonna believe me, so why?
But
what do we have to like? Why would we lie about it?
I see that, but I also see this weird, like, and I don't know if it's like correlated, but I feel like outside of this hockey world, if I was friends with someone,
yeah,
or knew a girl that was in this situation, me as a person, I would want to tell them, and I probably would.
Yeah.
And the hard part about hockey is that you have to remember that your husband and boyfriend are on a team with this person as well. And that's where it gets messy, and that's where people get stuck.
Yeah.
Because what happens is if you tell the person, then
it makes it awkward in the locker room.
Which can affect the game, which can affect the salary, which can affect, it's like this whole ripple effect. So it's like, how do you win? But me as a woman, like, I would want to know.
Because you look silly.
Not only that, but like, why waste your time?
Well, in the money to come visit them when they're just not being
wouldn't
true
you want
to you.
To know?
Yeah. Me? Yes.
And
absolutely.
Everyone would say that too.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Everyone in this hockey world would say, I would want to know if my boyfriend was cheating on me. Awful as it is, if my husband was cheating on me.
Yes.
Guess what? It happens.
I know. It does. It's real life, but I would want to know.
100%. And I just feel like if I was on a team and I became friends with a group of girls and they knew this and they didn't tell me, the
whole friendship is just based on lies.
I mean, the relationship would be over, therefore you would not ever see those people again. But like, how betrayed would you feel as a woman?
Especially, like when you're living there, you're seeing it, you're hearing everything. I mean,
so what's the call? Because I think like I've had this conversation with Charlie, like just hypothetically.
Yeah.
What would I do? I've read him these messages I've gotten before. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know. But he also is like, it would affect the dynamic. And it's like, does it just... But I'm not on a team. Yeah. And so what? So this guy's going to get mad at my husband because you're out screwing around and I told his girlfriend? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're just guilty. Yeah. Whoa, sorry, I'm getting really intense. I know. But like, it's such a weird thing.
It is.
Because you feel like this obligation to like the team.
So when guys think, One Tree Hill reference, but like,
love that show.
Bros before hoes. Well, we're hoes before bros.
Right. This guy's not a quality guy I want to be around anyways. Right. So why would
I don't like, okay, maybe they're teammates, but like, Do I want you to hang out with that person? Probably not. Do I trust my husband 100%? I do.
I don't think my husband would have an interest in hanging out with someone like that. It's completely different morals.
That too. Exactly. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like, chances are everyone already thinks this guy's a loser anyways.
Yes. And 9 times out of 10, this guy, the way they carry themselves, they're a loser.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Well, if you're doing that to someone, especially, it makes me sick if it's someone that's... It makes me sick regardless.
Yes.
It makes me even more sick when you find out it's a relationship of...
Years.
I've heard of this happening 7 years.
Yeah.
Meaning they've dated since high school. Because I don't know. It's sad.
Okay, for example, I've been cheated on. Yes, it was a high school relationship. It absolutely broke my heart. I think he's an awful person now. But did I want to know? Yes. Was I heartbroken? Yes.
Who told you?
He ended up telling me. But I very, very much disliked this girl. It was his best friend, best girlfriend, and I always knew that it was more. I always knew it. I knew that there was more. And I saw her years later in a bar. She asked me to tell her side of the story. And I like her now. Like,
It was him.
It was him. And I'm happy to know that. You know, did I want to be with him after he cheated on me? No.
I think people are scared of, but like,
I know it's hard. Like, I know, like, finding out that someone cheated on you is hard, and you're like, oh, we can make this work. I don't know. Because you're always going to wonder, especially if you don't live with them.
I have done long distance with Charlie. I never for 1 second thought he was doing that.
Same.
Thought he was ever capable of that. Like I didn't like the dynamic of like the team going out and like everyone knowing that like this is like a pro hockey team. Like I did not like that, and that's what gave me anxiety. But I never thought, like I never was like worried about it. Like he always like checked in. I'm home. He'd call me.
Yeah.
Like that was my thing. Like when we were long distance, I was like, you need to call me when you get home. That's just what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like I just want.
It wasn't you being like quote unquote crazy. It's just you want to know.
I want to know you're home safe.
Yeah.
I just want you to
above
check
all,
in.
you want to know that they're home.
I want to make sure you're
safe.
okay.
Yeah.
Like, how do you live with yourself?
I don't know.
How do you go out and do that and then have your girlfriend come visit the next day? I mean, it's
I don't
sick.
know.
It's literally so, like, what is so wrong with you that you think that's, like, that you can rationalize that? Just break up. If you're not happy, break up.
Exactly. And that is something that I mentioned, like, early in our relationship. If you're not happy, break up with me. Please. You know, like, I'm going to be heartbroken because I knew the night I met Matt that I wanted to marry him. But, like, break up. Please. If you even have the slightest, like, I kind of want to cheat, please just say, hey, hold on, and call me and break up with me. Because we're obviously not meant to be then.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the call?
If you don't trust, if you're in a long distance relationship, for example, and you don't have trust, you're probably right.
But what's the call for?
Please tell the girl. Please tell the girl. As much as like the back of my head is saying, nope, don't get involved, you would hate to be the person on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Because you come to visit and everybody knows that your boyfriend's cheating on you or your husband's cheating on you, and you look like an idiot.
Okay, let's make this real right now. What if someone here just flew in, you know that their boyfriend, husband's been cheating the whole time?
I would tell him. This point in my life, I would tell him.
How would you do it? I'm putting you on the spot because these are actual questions I get. And I don't have an answer. That's my answer. Is like, I literally do not know.
Well, I think, okay, for example, like, we're having a little girls get together Christmas kind of thing. I think I would take her aside and be like, hey, I just met you. But kind of been hearing some things. This is unfortunate, but especially here. Like, you flew all the way to Europe.
Do you think it should be a group thing?
No.
Do you think that it could be a group thing if you did it correctly?
Yes.
Because, like, almost for me, I don't know, like, I'm actually thinking, like, if I was in this position, I would almost, like, if it was delivered in the right way by a group of women that are, like, it's true.
Yeah.
I would almost be, like,
more receiving.
Shit.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, I would be like, oh my God. And then, like, just empowering and being like, we needed to tell you this.
Right. That's true. Yeah. It'd be empower. Yeah.
Because I feel like if it's one, like, say, like, you were to go to that person.
Yeah.
They're going to want to ask 5 more people because they're not going to believe it. So it's almost like you don't want that person to feel attacked. Like, oh my God, like, embarrassed, mortified. But, like, if you do it in a way, like...
Because your first question is going to be, like, how many people know?
Yeah. And you don't want to feel like...
And then you go out of the room where you're talking and
like, kind of
they all know.
Exactly. Like, a betrayal, too, because, like... Okay, so one person gets the balls to do it, and then all the other girls look bad because they all know. You've obviously all been talking about it, but no one else says it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if you just, as a group, figure out how to softly, because it is a sensitive topic, and they are going to be completely, like...
Devastated. Yep. Yep.
This was very, like, therapeutic to talk about.
Yeah.
Not that people will very much appreciate this conversation, because I guarantee you, every single person has been on a team where this has been a problem.
Yes.
And they're afraid to speak up.
Yes.
I've been afraid to speak up.
Yes.
I have been in this position. I have not said anything.
Yes.
Now, this is 8 years later.
Yeah.
I think I would probably say something now.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I would be afraid. But I do feel like at the age we are at now, I think Charlie would give me his support if I did choose to say this.
Yep.
Like, I don't think he'd be like, no, it's gonna affect the dynamic. It's like, no, we're like,
we're definitely. We're definitely at that age.
We're not 20 years old.
Yeah, we're not in college anymore where it's gonna turn into a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this age, it's like,
this is life. This
is
real
life.
Like,
and
if you're with someone for that long, like,
my God, if you bring in, like, kids into the dynamic, it's like, no. Mm-mm. I think I would have a tough time if they were just dating. No, I take that back. Regardless, I feel like it's awful. No matter what time of your relationship it is. But when you bring kids into the dynamic, I think it makes it 10 times worse.
I have not been in that position, thankfully. But
Same.
I've heard it from other people.
Yeah. I mean, you hear rumors, but
it's like there's children. And this isn't a joke. Like, get your shit together. Yeah. Okay, I want to move on to the next question.
Yes.
How to handle wives that are... I can't make that face. Like, queasy. Like that queasy emoji. I think it's like how to handle wives that are like... Not the vibe.
Yeah. You don't have to be friends with everybody. Like, I think that... Okay, for us, we're in Europe. We're away from our families. And we feel like we have to be friends with everybody. You don't. You really don't. And unfortunately, I think you feel like you have to, but you're not going to vibe with everybody. We're really lucky this year. Our group is great. But there is going to be years that you don't always vibe. And I mean, we're lucky to have the amount of imports that we do. I know there's other leagues that have basically zero imports.
Mm-hmm. That's hard.
And it's hard because you feel like you have to get along with everybody. But you're not going to get along with everybody. That's the bottom line. You're not going to. You're going to vibe more with some people than you are others. I don't know.
I like want to dive like deeper into this question because I have so many questions within that. It's like, what does this mean? Like, what does she mean by this? Does she mean like people that you just don't like, that you just don't click with, or like people that are like flat out rude? Because there's a huge difference.
Definitely.
And I feel that I agree with you. There is like this pressure that everyone needs to be best friends.
Yes.
And like, it's not real life. Like, if you're back home and you're meeting people through other people, like there's some people I meet right away, I'm like, oh my god, like I've known them for 15 years. Like it just like, feels like this like instant connection. But like there's some people that I meet and I'm like, I just like, I like them, and it's not. Anyways, I was just saying like there is a difference. I'd love to know, like, expand on her question as to whether it's like someone, like if they're being rude and like cliquey, or it's hard because when it depends on the dynamic of the team.
Yeah.
If there is maybe two girls that are like so close, like become best friends, inseparable, like it's like I had this with my friend Rachel in Idaho. I mean, she was at my wedding. Like we only played together for a season, so like, and we didn't see each other since that season. And she was at my wedding like 3 years later. Yeah,
I mean, you have those kind of people that you just like immediately click with.
We were like soul sisters. I don't talk to her all the time. When we do, it's like
you pick right back up.
It's insane. She's from Nashville.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. She's the best, like most genuine, down to earth, like amazing. I try to look at it from that lens where I'm like, we were so like, you know, when you, it's like we were just like, we're so like, we felt like sisters almost.
Yeah.
Whereas I could see from another person's perspective, they don't feel like they fit into that and feeling like we're cliquey.
Yeah.
Where from our opinion, we weren't even thinking because we were just so in sync. We're so in love with each other. That we're just like, not even thinking about anything else. That's one thing. Maybe the person's not aware. I do think if someone were to say, this is just me trying to relate to every situation, hey, I would love to be invited next time. Could you let me know next time you get drinks?
Yes.
I would love to join.
Yes.
And if we made a decision to not invite that person, then I think you can say that's not okay.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that you need to speak up. And not in the sense of like being like, you didn't invite me, you guys are cliquey, but being like, hey, I'd love to join in, like, please let me know, like, I've been kind of lonely.
Right. And you know what, I have a friend that, like, for example, her and a few of the girls were the same nationality on the team in another country. And she kept saying, can you add me to the group chat? Can you add me to the group chat? Hey, can you add me to the group chat?
I've heard of this happening.
You know, and she was added like a week before the season was over. And she said she could see these couple girls going on a walk almost every day together. And she's like, we literally speak the same language.
I would love to go on that walk.
Yes, we have kids around the same age. Can you please let me know when you're going? I would love to go. And just wouldn't.
Sorry, let me pipe in too, because I'm just like, I could talk about this all day.
Yeah.
It is a two-way street. Not saying she wasn't including them on her end.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of people sit around and wait to be invited to something.
Right.
I want to empower and encourage people to make plans and invite other people.
Yes.
You can't expect to be invited to stuff if you're never cultivating a plan either.
Yeah.
Unless,
No, it's true. I just think that she was like, I'm putting in the effort to try to be included and I'm trying to make plans and it's not being executed. You know, like,
right, like
I want to come with you girls.
Please
let me know what time you're going to go.
Yes.
And it's not being reciprocated and she can see out her window.
Right. And then you're like, that's just flat out rude. Because I want to come.
Yes.
And I've been in that situation too. I have been in that situation where I have said, please let me know when you guys are getting dinner before the games. I would love to join you.
Yes.
I see on Instagram that
and like that's the thing. Like when things are getting posted on stories, it's like, oh, okay, thanks. It's awesome.
It's
rude.
Yeah. It's literally rude.
Yeah. So if you're gonna blatantly leave somebody out, keep it off social media. And I mean, to kind of circle back, like, you don't have to get along with everyone.
No.
In a group setting, yeah, you can probably handle each other.
And by get along, you mean you don't need to hang out with them outside of group settings.
Right, exactly. You don't it doesn't have to be forceful.
You should always be cordial.
Yes.
But you don't need to.
I have absolutely run into that on numerous teams where, yep, it works in a group setting, but in a small group setting, you're probably not going to be invited because you just don't click and it's at this person's house and we're not going to post about it. And sometimes it's like the guys too.
For sure though.
Yeah.
But like, it's like that is life. Like everyone has
not all the guys gelled well together.
No. And it's like everyone has different personalities. Mm-hmm. Like two people that have so outgoing personalities might not hit it off. Or they might be best friends. Or two really shy people. They might not really have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
Like it's like you can't place everybody in this bubble that's like, we all have to fit this robotic mold and all get along and be best friends. It's like, no, that's not realistic.
No. I ran into that a bit in North America. Like, I was such good friends with these girls and, you know, Matt would be like, oh, I don't even talk to that person at the rink. Like, this is kind of weird that we're getting together after a game or something like that. And it wouldn't be awkward, but it was kind of like, oh, I don't really talk to that person. And it was hard for me because it was like, oh, well, these are my friends. Mm-hmm. And it ended up being fine, but it ends, I don't know. It's weird. You don't have to feel like you have to be fake and continue a conversation. And I mean, we've been on teams where we've just said hello to each other. And like, I just think this year at games, I'm like, first of all, I can't hear anything. Hi, I went half deaf when I got pregnant. But just, you're busy with your kid and
you're also trying to like pay attention to them.
Yes,
like you can't fully talk to someone if you're also.
And I want to watch the game.
Yeah.
I want to watch the game. So it's not that I'm not interested in having a conversation with you, per se. I want to watch the game. I'm making sure Sophia doesn't go 4 sections over. And if you can't understand that, then fine. And also, you don't have to be friends with everyone.
Yeah, that's basically the summary of the story.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheap Euro wine, what's your favorite? Mine is like Chianti. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's just Italy. Go to the Italy section, get red wine. That's my red wine. Chianti. What did I say? Chianti?
Yeah.
What is it?
Chianti.
Chianti.
Yeah.
Alright, obviously I'm not. Oh my god, who's FaceTiming me? Oh, my husband. My face just popped up on my laptop.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm trying to think of the brand that we like.
Paul Aches or whatever. It's an Austrian, I think. That's the expensive Chardonnay that I bought.
I mean, tonight I'm drinking
a bottle of
Cecilia
martinis.
Oh yeah, before I came, I tested out my espresso martini.
The fact that you guys need to come to Nashville with us so you can have wine with us.
Yes!
Jeanie is coming with me, which I'm so excited when you told me you were like actually seriously going to like come.
Wasn't even a question. I was like...
But like, you know, it was like there's so many people that have told me that they're coming that they're not, and I knew that was going to happen, but like I was so pleasantly surprised when you actually came. Not that I doubted you, but I was
got like, that Venmo and you're like, all right, she's coming.
I'm like, she's all in.
Yes.
It's going to be so fun. Like, think about the fact that we're, like, ending the season together, per se, end of March, early April.
Yes.
And then we're going to, like, see each other in the U.S. in Nashville for, like, a girls' weekend. It's going to be
crazy.
So fun.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, so excited. And I feel like you probably feel like you know people through listening to the podcast, too. But
yes. Like, I'm just excited because I met a friend in Denmark last season. And obviously probably will not see her this season. And she's going to be teaching Pilates in Nashville. So I'm excited to see her again. And she lives in Nashville. And just making those connections again. And I feel like...
And Stephanie, who's
yes,
your roomie.
Yeah, my roomie. I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, she was only... The last 2 summers, she's only been 3 hours away. But with COVID, it's just not worked out. And with our kids. And so I can hardly wait to see her. And...
It's going to feel so good.
Yeah. You know,
same with, like, my friend Rachel, like, who's staying with me. Like,
yeah.
I haven't seen her since my wedding. And I'm going to, like, just die when I see her.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, the best feeling, seeing old friends and making new... Like, I just feel like it's... Like, and I'm not even bullshitting. Like, we have such a good group. Like...
Yeah. So, to see Stephanie again, like, we were supposed to go to Prague this weekend. And... didn't work out with lockdown, and now Germany going into lockdown, and that's where they are. Like, it's gonna be great to see her again and get away from our kids. This is actually gonna be my, like, Nashville's gonna be my first trip away from Sophia, and she'll be over 3 years old.
Yeah, this is my first trip away. I'm gonna have to leave a very detailed instruction list.
It's insane. I would leave her before this, but it's been a different world.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.